Season 5, we get the guys back together for our 200th episode, where we sit down with an old Baker 7 and compare it to one of the new Baker 7 single barrels. Then we finish with Legent. Find out what we thought on this episode of The Bourbon Hunters. But before we get started, do you want to support our podcast? Do you like bourbon gear? Visit our website at www.bourbonhunters.com to buy some of our custom bourbon gear and help support the podcast. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on our hunt for great bourbon. Reward yourself and sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy. Welcome to another episode of the Bourbon Hunters. I'm Dude Poole. I'm joined by
Brett Bryan.
And we've got
Tyler Schaefer.
The one and only.
We have the entire band back together for our, 200th episode. 200 episodes. Can you believe that shit, Tyler? This is like your 15th episode.
I know.
We've done 200 episodes so far. This is something I didn't think we'd ever get to be honest. I know we've talked about our origin story many times, so I don't need to cover that again. But
I remember doing the 100th episode of Middle West Spirits. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was a big deal for us. We made a big,
we did, and then invited people, and yeah, that was fun.
Not long ago.
No, that was fun. I think. What did we do here? What episode did we do here?
Was that
whatever.
150 maybe?
No, I think.
No, it was
Did
we did 100,000 downloads.
That was at Top Golf.
Yes.
But we did something here in the basement where we all took a picture together.
Was that Root?
That might have been the 100th, and 150 might have been at Middle West.
Okay, we did something at Middle West though.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah,
I feel like we did something significant there.
Some celebration there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a celebration, bitches.
It all runs together.
Yeah.
We've been doing this now. I mean, it's old hat for us. We're pros now.
Yeah.
I will say, listen, big announcement. We are the 6th now.
6th
highest downloaded podcast for bourbon in the country.
Wow.
Well, I thought we were 7th.
We were. Now
Thanks
we're
for listening, y'all.
Yeah. We've had a little
Is it a
recently.
monthly thing or a yearly thing? I thought it was
I think it updates weekly, actually.
Oh, wow.
We've peaked as high as 19th overall in downloads in the, I think, hobbies category.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a pretty big category. Has things like Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of stuff in it. And we've been as high as 19th.
D&D.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of nerds listen to podcasts. Listen to podcasts that are not bourbon podcasts.
Yeah. We support you, nerds.
We support, Brett supports you. He plays Dungeons and Dragons every other Wednesday.
Fellow nerd.
Yeah.
So, I had a separate question. I'll ask you a little bit.
All right. So, today.
Is it about D&D?
No.
For our 200th episode.
I'm a druid.
Are you?
I'm a druid. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
That's enough D&D
Do you
talk.
sing? Do you sing in the show?
Yeah, that's a bard.
Oh, that's a bard. You're right.
Yeah.
But that's a type of druid, right?
You can, well, there's like class and race.
Yeah. Like cleric, druid, bard. All those are kind of similar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So today we're doing Bakers. We've got an old school Baker 7, which is not a single barrel. Then we've got the newer Baker 7 single barrel. And then just to kind of piggyback off of the same distillery, we're doing Legent or Legent. I don't know how it is. One of the two, which is the collaboration between.
There's a.
Legent seems
Legent.
appropriate.
I think it probably is Legent, but I thought I'd heard it pronounced both ways. I've heard it both ways. So this is a collaboration between a Japanese distiller and I think Fred Eno. And they took some Beam product and then finished it in some sherry casks. And but we'll finish with that. That'll
What's
be
that
our
design on the bottle. Like, is it supposed to be something?
Yeah, it is supposed to be something.
I
Design
don't mean
something that's supposed to be nothing.
I don't know what it is.
It's not an episode of Seinfeld. It's not a show about nothing.
It's very abstract. There's a face right here. Do you see that? It's like a silhouette.
Oh yeah, and it's in the. But there's probably one on the bottom one too.
There is.
Two faces.
There is.
For the two people.
For two true legends. There you go. Do you see that, Tyler?
So that's why I wasn't sure if it was. That's why.
I see. Very cool.
Because it's the two legends. I didn't know if it was Legend.
That makes sense. Okay. I see your rationale.
So I don't know though.
Continue.
But that's what we're doing today for our 200th episode. We're keeping it kind of not nearly as big of a blowout as we had for our 100th and 150th and our 100,000th download and whatever. We're well past 150K now.
Nice.
Yeah. We're just getting badges all over the Podbean website, man.
Can I get like a vest with like little badges on it?
Oh, we should. We should ask them for physical badges.
Yeah, that's what
We should ask them.
Screw those virtual badges.
for some money.
I mean, we'd have to do
$1
that.
a download.
We can do that ourselves.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Sticking with the same distillery, what did we start with? What did we prime with today?
We primed with Knob Creek 12 year, which is absolutely delicious. You missed that, Tyler.
Yeah.
I did.
That's what happens when you show up late, Tyler.
Yeah.
Or on time, depending on, what you're going off of. Because you said 7:30.
Well, I showed up early.
Yeah.
technically.
I mean, you showed up early for that. I said 7:15, so you showed up late for my time. Fair enough. So what question did you have?
So a buddy of mine grabbed a Bland and texted me. He was like, "I grabbed a Blanton's today," and I'm like, "Interesting, how?" And he was like, "Yeah, someone from my work ran over to Kroger today and was able to score a bunch of stuff." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "How? They're all on Saturdays now. So how would you score a bunch of stuff today?"
Where is this?
UA.
In Columbus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that every Kroger has to do it, but I think most are.
Okay.
That
could be.
And I know not there. From what I understand,
Well,
OHLQ is trying to get everyone to do
Yeah.
Saturday releases,
Yeah.
not just Kroger.
I thought it was everyone had to, but then that would make sense. What was the day that?
Pit stops on Fridays.
Okay, so that makes sense
And Arena's not on Saturday, I don't think.
Okay.
I know Carfagna's is on Saturdays, but they do theirs like at odd times.
Yeah.
Like just to mess with people.
Dude, they did a drop during the Ohio State-Michigan game, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Although that might have been the midwinter night's dram that they dropped.
But still, that's
Well, and you know what's
But I
so
think that's funny
disappointing?
that
You know
they
what's
did
so disappointing about that is, I forget where we were, but typically I thought we would have been at my brother-in-law's for that game, which is like next door to Carfagna. So if I would have known that, I literally would have
Walked
I wouldn't
over.
have given a fuck about the game. I
Yeah.
would have just driven over and grabbed it.
Yeah.
So I was annoyed.
I just think it's funny, like, no one's going to be waiting. Not no one. Most people would not be, like, waiting in a line during the OSU-Michigan game. So I think
Yeah.
that's very, very funny.
Interesting.
That's funny. So Jeff just sent us a text that he
I saw, yeah,
had to
that's what I
sit
was
through an
responding
air for a vacuum demonstration for an hour to
get
get a free air
$30
purifier.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could have been here.
Oh my god!
You could have been here. So that's just that cracks me up. All right. So and she's all excited about getting a free fresh air machine. That's pretty funny. He's got to be hating life right now.
Oh, yeah.
That is so
he
funny.
is.
Oh, that's fucking great.
All right, so let's start with this first Baker's 7. So this Baker's product, when I first got into the bourbon game, I'm pretty sure that's what the Baker's was.
This smells good.
And from what I understand, it was a good product. I mean,
Very, very nutty and oaky on the nose.
let's get into it. Well, I mean, that's very standard for Beam.
Oh, speaking of
this has
things
an
smelling
interesting-
and tasting fantastic. Started my ice cream today.
Oh, you got your Ninja Smooth? Or
I
what's
got
it called?
my Ninja Creamy.
Creamy. That's what it is.
And that's
I-
an ice cream maker, I assume?
It kind of. So there's
I'll
a
have to
couple of
Google it.
recipes that I've been following.
Ninja smoothie? What's
Creamy.
it called? Creamy.
And what'd you get that for Christmas, you say?
Yeah, I got it for Christmas. I want to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Carter's birthday, so I'll be having some
Happy birthday, Carter.
Ice cream to celebrate.
ice cream to celebrate.
some old Carter?
But also old Carter.
Are you going to open it?
Yeah, of
You
course.
haven't opened it yet, right?
Nope.
He said he was going to do one pour.
Yep.
So if you stick to that.
One pour on his birthday.
And it should last past 21. If you do a 1 ounce pour,
Yeah.
it should last
I don't,
up to his 21st
I should
birthday.
have a
and then
jigger? I'm not
And then
sure.
you could also then, you know how to, do you have a food scale?
Yeah.
It does fluid ounces.
Oh, okay.
You can pour an ounce in there
Yeah.
and measure it out. And then, so if you do that, by the time he turns 21, you should have like 3 or 4 pours left,
Yeah.
and you could each do, on his 21st birthday, a 2 ounce pour.
Sure. So tomorrow I did a pint of, I'm going to do a pint of cookies and cream and a pint of strawberry shortcake.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Strawberry shortcake's an underrated
Yeah.
flavor.
And so, and all the recipes that I follow are on the healthy side. So it usually has like an almond milk and a fat free. Like I use fat free Fairlife for a little bit more flavor. But then a protein powder, and I use a fat-free cheesecake pudding mix. I use...
Do you get recipes online, or are you making these up? Okay.
Yep. There's an artificial sweetener that I use for a little bit of sweetness as well in there. In the strawberry shortcake, the base is just the strawberry ice cream, which is just like a cup of... it's that stuff plus a cup of strawberries blended up. And then,
have you done this yet?
No.
So
Tomorrow will be the first time.
Gotcha.
And so like you basically like when it comes out frozen, it's like a frozen thing. And you know how like Halo Top, like most of it being shitty is the texture because it's like frozen ice.
And it needs to sit. You got to let it like
exactly.
Like fall.
So the thing about this machine is it basically creams it so that it gives it that airy flavor.
Kind of like your wife.
Yes.
When we
creams it. Yeah.
I know. I was waiting. I was like,
and
do I say it or do I just wait?
So I'm really that's like half of it when it comes to ice cream is the texture.
Yeah, I agree.
And then there's a mix-in functions where you can, after you do that, you can put some things in there. So for the strawberry shortcake, I'm going to put some graham crackers and like low-fat frozen cream cheese in there. Bites. So we'll see how it turns out.
Well, guys, I got to get some ice cream right now because I'm fucking hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to Graders.
But I like
Trina stop off and get some Graders on the way home.
Yeah.
Right?
But I like the fact that a lot of the base of the ingredients are the same, so I can make like 4 different kinds. And then like the mix-ins and things like that are, fairly.
Do you do the mix-ins after you make the base?
Yes.
So you make the base and then you do
for the most part. Like,
so it's almost like a flurry or something?
Yes. So the mix-ins are the last thing. So
I might have to go buy one of these.
Yeah.
I know. I just looked it up.
Trina's always being healthy.
Yes.
And she would probably love to have the ability to do this.
The strawberry shortcake for the entire pint is like 350 calories and like 46 grams of protein.
How many carbs and how much fat?
That I don't know, but probably very little, assuming that 46 grams is pretty fucking high out of 350,
Yeah.
I like in this advertisement picture, there's a margarita with there's like all this ice cream and dessert, and then there's a margarita.
Deluxe does like margaritas, they do
this is the deluxe.
Sorbets, like there's different functions, and it basically mixes these things differently based off of what it is. So they'll do, milkshakes, malts, like. So I'll let you know how it turns out. Could be shitty.
Yeah, keep us posted.
To be honest, this is our first recording of the year.
Yeah.
We had the Weller episode done in December. So we did that, it was a timing thing, and we had access to it, so we did it then. I posted a rerun last week, and then the one before that, the Hardens Creek episode, was me, JD, and Jason, and you weren't able to make it. Mm-hmm. So this is our first episode of the year back together, and it's technically our 4th episode of the season. And it's the first one with us in it, like actually recorded this year.
JD's pumped that he's been on so much.
Yeah, no, he's been
like JD.
He's been a good addition on the show because he actually has a good nose and he's got some decent
a lot
stories
of knowledge.
He's gone from a fanboy of the show to an actual participant and contributor, which has been nice. Because when he was first on, he was definitely a fanboy, you know. But now he's actually become one of the guys, and he's a good addition.
I like JD. He texts me sometimes. He calls me,
too,
and I'm like, "Oh, what's up, dude?"
Yeah, no, he's good. And actually, I don't think I've actually sent him that money for the 12.
You did it.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I need to do that
for
then.
the 12. So
and mine, but
yours.
The 4 Roses.
I don't have to send you anything. I do. No, I paid you, didn't I?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I paid you that day.
Oh, did you?
I'm almost positive. I'll check.
Okay. But if not
you
I'll can wait until...
No. I paid you cash at Roosters.
You're right. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you are an idiot.
Yeah.
That's not...
Well, I was thinking... I usually get Venmos, and I'm like, dude...
That's not in dispute.
Yeah.
That's not in dispute. You are an idiot. No, I haven't paid... You're right. I have not paid him. I paid you cash. Yeah. I saw my pimp that day, so I was just giving you cash. So, and speaking of which, I meant to text you. I left Roosters. I was on the clock.
That's crazy.
10 minutes.
10
I got
minutes.
and I think part of it is we sit and talk.
Yeah.
Normally when I leave Roosters, it's right after I'm done eating. We finished eating and we talked for another 15, 20 minutes.
Well, because I ordered more wings and we thought they'd be out in 5 minutes, and it was like 20 minutes later. I'm like, what the fuck?
And as soon as I got in the house, I was on the toilet.
Oh damn!
Every time I leave Roosters, every time.
Yeah.
There's
Is it
a
the sauce?
I fucking
I don't
love
know. I think
Roosters.
Roosters are the best wings.
I honestly think it's the salad. But I get the
salad,
salad every time. I
Yeah.
think it's a premixed salad.
It's preservatives in the salad.
Yeah,
is what
and I
does it
think
to
that's
me.
what I think it runs right through me.
Chipotle's that way.
Trina-
I can't get the lettuce in Chipotle.
Trina keeps telling me
Dude,
to.
if that's a thing, I'll fucking have it every time to go right through.
Right. That's what I told Trina. I was like, if you ever have a problem, like
Eating,
find some sort of allergy that you have that makes
Yeah.
you poop.
Yeah.
But no,
That's
like
funny.
every time I have, because every time I get the salad, every time.
Yeah.
And Trina's like, next time don't get the salad. I'm like, we'll see.
I've been eating a lot more just whole foods, and I just feel worlds better.
Yeah.
Just
Dude, take fiber. You'll feel amazing.
Yeah.
I take fiber every morning, and you just feel like you can just like fully evacuate,
yeah.
and you just feel.
Well,
That's-
now I
that's
like
my biggest
now
issue.
my body
Oh, yeah.
is like,
Start taking
you
fiber.
you have
Well,
to go. You know.
Let me caveat to that. Like, for example, I just made chili this weekend for our chili cook-off.
Yeah.
And so I had like 4 meals of chili. And is chili the only meal, sidebar, that gets better?
Oh, it does.
So it's
after-
tomatoes.
Right. So it dissolves
why.
a little bit more and like
It's
breaks
the
down.
acids.
It breaks down in the right.
Yeah.
Pasta's the same way as the acid breaks down.
So
and gets better.
so the way I cook it is I make it the day before I actually plan to enter it into a
Oh, yeah.
contest, and then I put it in the fridge overnight, heat it up again the next day. It's always better.
Mm-hmm.
But what's even worse is the next day it's even better. So like I should make it 2 days
2
earlier.
days in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's how
Yes,
chili
it's
is.
insane.
Anything like pasta is better the next day because of the acid
Except
breaking down the
for
tomatoes.
like cream base, that shit.
Well, yeah,
like
it's
the
tomato
fat
base.
fucking.
Yeah.
That shit, like the fat separates.
Right,
it does.
separates,
It looks
yeah.
fucking
Gross.
gross.
So, but it's insane. Like every time, like the third or fourth day, it's like the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
And you're like, son of a bitch, why wasn't this the one that we, you know? So the last time I had,
Do you have leftovers?
I do right now.
Like
yeah.
a shit ton?
I have enough for probably 3 or 4 bowls.
Oh, okay.
If you want a bowl before. we leave.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say next year, like, I'll fucking take a tub of that home. You know?
Yeah. You got to actually show up to my gym party.
I will. I
You're
wouldn't know
invited
about
every
it.
year.
I wasn't here, but
Yeah. Well, you knew about it because I couldn't
I
go
did.
to JD's because I was getting all the shirts ready
Yeah.
for it the night before. So you knew about it,
Yeah.
and he was in Mexico, so it's okay. I'll give him a pass.
Mexico.
Hey, cool. So anyway, let's nose this. We've been talking for 15
It
minutes
was.
now.
I've
haven't
been
even-
drinking it. Sorry.
Yeah. So let's
it's
nose
definitely
it.
peanutty.
It's very
Dusty
peanutty.
and
And
peanutty
there's a
on the
dusty
nose.
and a peanut. Yeah,
It's
I agree.
very Baker's.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's very like
Very
just Jim
Beamish
Beam.
too. Yeah. In general.
Like it kind of reminds me of the Knob Creek 12 year, but like a younger. Like there's not as oaky as that 12 year.
Is this a 107?
Yes.
So 107 proof. We're bumping up a little bit from our primer, which was 100 proof. This is good.
I like it a lot, honestly.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a very like nice casual sipper.
For a
It doesn't-
107, 107's that wheelhouse. I
Yeah,
think.
no, I agree. 107 to like 110 is a good wheelhouse for me.
I think I was going to say 107 or 110 down to like 90.
Yeah.
Anything in that range is a great sipper. Like, what is Eagle Rare? Is it 90?
I think it's 90.
So like anything in that range, I feel like is really, really a good
Yeah.
sipping, which includes pretty much every Maker's Mark Private Select or whatever you call them. What are those called?
Wood finishing series?
Yeah, the staves,
Yeah.
the Private Selects.
Yep.
There's a little
Because those
butteriness
are
to
all-
this too, I get.
Yeah.
You getting that?
Yeah, a little bit of a mouthfeel, yeah.
Yeah.
Mouth experience. A good mouth experience. So, Tyler, you didn't get a chance. Before we got on here, before you showed up, I was upstairs watching the TV series Ted.
Is it good?
Oh, my God, it's hilarious. It's stupid Seth MacFarlane
Seth
comedy.
MacFarlane's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think he's
if you've
hilarious.
ever enjoyed the first Ted or the second Ted, it's the same comedy. Or Million
Do
Ways
you
to
have
Die
to
in
watch
the West.
I was
first and
literally
the
getting ready to
second?
No, in
reference
fact,
that.
it's a prequel, so no.
Oh, okay.
So this is back in the 90s. It takes
that's
so
funny.
one of the things they do, and this is total Seth MacFarlane.
What is it on?
Peacock.
Okay.
And so one of the things that they do that's really great that Seth MacFarlane is really good at is taking today's standards and applying it back to historical stuff.
Yeah.
So like when he did Million Ways to Die in the West, he did the same thing. Like made, observations about that time period based off of today's standards. And he does the same thing in the 90s on this show, and it's hilarious. Like there's a scene in the very first episode where they're talking about midgets, and the cousin is like, "You can't say that." And of course they're all talking in Boston accents, so it's actually it just makes it funnier. And he's like, "Why not?" And this is Ted she's talking to, and She goes, "Oh, that's derogatory. You can't say that. That's insulting." And so at this point, Ted realizes he's like a little person, basically, because he's like 3 foot something, maybe 2 foot something. And so then he is like, on behalf of all little people, I endorse, the use of that comment or of that phrase. And so like it just that kind of stupid comedy throughout the entire show. I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it is so funny. Like I don't want to go into it. So I'm only like 4 or 5 episodes in, but it's just hilarious so far. Anyway, that being said,
I feel like I need to tell you guys real quick too. So I just got back from my Mexico trip, as you said.
Yep.
And it was an all-inclusive.
Yep.
And I was impressed with their bourbon selection.
What was the name of the place?
Iberostar, I think is how it's pronounced.
And
it's
they had bourbon there?
They had bourbon there, yes. So
when I go to Hard Rock, all they have is Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, and then a ton of like different Johnny Walkers.
So they had a bunch of Johnny Walkers. That's correct. So
that's pretty popular down there, I guess.
So it's a very big resort, but it's divided into 2 places. There's like the regular and then the Coral, and the Corals is more expensive. It's like a higher end, whatever, but it's an adult only. Is why we did the Coral side.
Where I go to in the Hard Rock in Riviera Maya has Heaven, and then the other side is something else, Hacienda.
Okay.
And Hacienda is the family-friendly side, and Heaven is the adult-only side.
Yeah.
Heaven can go to both sides. Hacienda can only, unless you're an adult, you can't go to the Heaven side unless you're an adult.
And that's how this was. I honestly don't know if you can come, because you have different wristbands, and so we had better drinks at the Coral side. And so,
so you stayed on the Coral side?
Stayed on the Coral side. It was really cool because I love that the wristband was your key as well. It had an RFID chip in it.
Yep.
And it was just...
That's how it was in Hard Rock as well.
Which was really cool. But they had your typical Jim Beam and Jack Daniels. They had Bullet. They also had Wild Turkey 101 everywhere. And so I was like, shit. So I drank quite a bit of Wild Turkey. And then, believe it or not, I drink a lot of tequila. Just because
when I'm down there, for whatever reason, I have them make out of Reposado. I always have them make margaritas for me.
Yeah, I drank a lot of margaritas, but they weren't like your typical like sugary ass.
No, they're not.
They were they were good margaritas, and they used Hornitos and
Hornitos and Reposado is what I always make.
And there was another one called like Trace Generations or something that was it was really good tequila.
I think Hornitos is a good tequila
it was great.
brand.
You'd have to ask for Hornitos or they would give you whatever.
I would always, when I do it, that's exactly right. I would do the same thing. I'd ask for a margarita on the rocks. I don't do the frozen.
Same. No salt on the rocks.
But I do salt. I can
only do like salt on one, and then my mouth's all like fucking like I've been in the Sahara.
What I generally do, and this,
you know what I mean? Yeah. You're all like puckered up from all the salt.
When you go down there, so this last time I went down was an exception because I found that Eagle Rare. Remember in the duty free. So I bought 2 bottles of that, and I killed one while I was there.
I forgot about that, but yes.
So that was an exception. So when I went down last time, it was all Johnny Walker and Eagle Rare. But the previous times I've gone down there, it's always been you take your Yeti cooler or your Yeti cup. And then I took 2. One I'd fill up with water.
Yes,
I had the big one that I filled up with water. And I had the little one that not little, but smaller.
Yeah.
Like 22 ouncer versus the 32 ouncer that I'd have filled up with like Johnny Walker and whatever. Or I would have them make a margarita, then I'd pour it into the Yeti.
I did that a lot.
And it keeps it from melting.
Sure.
And it keeps the flavors really nice.
Right. Are you guys morning drinkers?
On vacation, you have to be.
Typically, yeah,
but I don't
I
like drinking till like noon.
Who's you guys?
You always tell me that you and Trina, you get up, you sleep in.
Yeah, we sleep.
You go work out, you have breakfast, and then you start drinking, which ends up being like 11.
That's not noon.
No,
that's a morning. That's last
morning
I checked.
Like,
that
morning's like 9 a.m.
What are the 2 letters?
You're having mimosas at breakfast. At like
what are the 2 letters after 11?
It's vacation. Vacation is different.
No,
noon is basically. And plus,
but Trina and I, we always work out. So for one, that's Trina's therapy.
Yeah,
like she loves to work out. It keeps her grounded, keeps anxiety, different things like that in check. And so we always work out. We if we're gone for 7 days, she'll try to work out 6 or 4 days, like 4 to 6 days. And some days I'll convince her not to. And we'll just go start drinking when we get up. We'll have a breakfast with like mimosas, or we'll have a breakfast with Bloody Mary or something. Then we'll just parlay it into, drinking at the pool as soon as it opens. And so what we would do is we would go down, put our towels on the places we wanted to sit, go work out, come back, have breakfast, and then go up, get ready, and go right down to the pool. Yeah. And I would usually go down to the pool quicker because she'd take a full-on shower. I would just rinse off, and then go down because I'm going to sit in the sun and bake. I'm going to be in the pool, so I would rinse off any like nasty sweat, but I wouldn't take.
Yeah, you're about to put suntan lotion on and all that shit.
She would take a full-on fucking shower, and that's fine, whatever. But I would go down and I'd start reading and drinking at the pool until she got down there, and then we, in and out of the water as needed, whatever. But
yes, I would be a like mid-morning. Yeah. Like start with like a mimosa at breakfast. That's light.
Yeah.
And then like.
Did you work out at all?
I did, but.
Do you work out once on vacation?
Depends.
The gym started getting packed though, like ridiculously packed.
Like later in the day?
Later in the week. So as you started to hit like Thursday, Friday, there were so many, and it wasn't a huge gym. And it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'll just like take a long walk on the beach.
Yeah.
We actually left the resort one day, which I know you're not supposed to do, but who gives a shit?
You're not?
I mean, some people say you're like, they get weird about it, but we walked down to this like archaeological site, and it was maybe like a mile walk or something. It wasn't bad.
On the beach?
No. It was on the street.
Oh.
It's called El Rey, but it was really cool. It was from the 1200s, and there were all these like fucking pyramids and shit. Yeah. And I'm like, I guarantee someone got sacrificed here back in the day.
Where were you in Cancun? Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a ton of
you guys got a pretty
ruins.
good deal.
Yeah, they 40% off, dude. Black Friday deal.
There's tons of ruins in that area,
and this is their busy time.
You know where it's really nice to go visit?
It was great. It was a Black Friday deal. It was like a last minute.
Tulum is a great place. Did you see ads for Tulum when you were?
I don't think
it's a lot. It's south of Riviera Maya, so you would have been probably almost an hour and a half away.
Okay.
But Tulum is great. It was a huge trading center.
Okay.
In the Mayan, because you know Cancun area is like in the Mayan,
right?
Like that's the Mayan. Is it Mayan? No,
Aztec.
No, not Aztec. Aztec.
Then it would be Mayans then.
I think, that's probably why it's called Riviera Maya.
Yeah, that would be the Mayans.
I think it's the Mayans, yeah. So, but anyway, Tulum, and did you know that a lot of that area down there, that Yucatan Peninsula, still speaks that language?
I didn't know that either.
Not just Mexican, but actually the language.
I think it's called Spanish.
Well, there's a
I know
an accent and a dialect to it, so I call it Mexican.
Well, most of Mexico has very, very, very different dialects.
Yeah. Like the Pacific Ocean is a little different than the East, but a lot of the dialect in the Yucatan Peninsula is based off of that. I think if it is Mayan, I'm pretty sure it's based off Mayan. That Mayan dialect. So there's a lot of Mayan speaking done, whatever the language is called, in that area.
It's like literally, it's like being from Boston or being from.
I was literally going to say Boston.
Well, but it's a completely different language.
Yeah,
and so that language has influenced the local Mexican or Spanish, language of that area.
Yeah,
and so they mix in a little bit of that original language with the Mexican, Spanish, whatever. And it's interesting. So they were telling us about that when we were in Tulum, and. But Tulum was a pretty big community. Like it was.
I'll have to check that one out.
It was pretty cool, and it was really neat. But they definitely sacrificed people. There were definitely sasacrifices.
Oh yeah, I'm like someone got sacrificed here, guaranteed.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure that happened here in the U.S. in places too.
Like the witches.
Well, that and Native Americans and different things like that. Yeah. Sure.
Pour the next one.
one.
Did we ever give our flavor profile on this one? I know he nosed it.
No, I didn't. Sorry, mine's gone.
I got a nutty profile. There was there was like a little bit of like a buttery profile in there, and it wasn't super viscous.
No,
but it didn't fall flat either.
It had a decent finish. Yeah.
I liked this way more than I expected. Not that I expected it to be bad.
No,
I liked it more than I really expected.
And what's it? 7 years old, right?
7 years.
It says. Mm-hmm. And which is where the Baker 7 comes from. Now, the interesting thing about Baker 7 single barrels is I've had some Baker 7s that have been actually 8.5 years old.
Oh.
But I think that the limiting or the
has to be at least
7 years, yeah. So like this one, for example, let me look and see what it says. So the one we're about to do now is the Baker 7. It's 7 years, 10 months. So it's almost 8 years old.
8 years, yeah.
And it's from 2015, bottled in 2022. It's actually bottled. It was bottled in 2023 because it was barreled in 2015.
Yeah.
So 10 months into, or 9 months, I should say, into 2023. So let's go ahead and pour some of this out.
Yeah. I spent, it was JD's birthday.
When?
Friday.
Okay.
So we went down and surprised him.
Was he surprised? Did he not know what was happening?
No.
Oh.
No, and I didn't know it was a surprise either.
He was
so
sending me texts of you on your phone while everyone was.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was funny because you were texting us what you were texting us,
Yeah.
and he's texting me pictures of you on your phone.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the heart to tell him that you were texting us
Yeah.
what you were texting us.
Yeah.
So,
But so,
about
This
your-
nose is way different than the other one.
It was about your sister, JD. So just
Was
so
she
you know.
hot?
That's what he was saying.
Oh,
she's attractive.
that was very professional, Tyler. You're getting better.
But I mean that in
A 40-year-old.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Attractive.
there's really, if you like stop and look around in this world, there's really not that many attractive people
over 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Unless they're like
over 30.
Well, it's definitely a downhill slide after 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Agree.
So,
you have to make an effort to like.
I'm pretty happy with my situation.
yeah.
I
We
think
should all be. We
Because
should all be.
You should all be happy about my situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
because honestly, like when I met, she looks much better than
Yeah.
she did when she was at 30. And that's
usually you don't get the reverse. You
Right,
might get to
right.
stay the same, only
Right.
slightly
And she is-
worse, but you don't get the reverse.
and what's interesting is we were both probably in the same ballpark when we met, but now she's out of my league.
Yeah.
But I already roped her in.
But it's
so-
too late now. She's
Yeah,
stuck.
She's stuck.
So
As far as
we,
I know.
we probably tried like
3
9
positions. Oh,
different bourbons there at
Yeah.
JD's.
yeah. It's a good thing
It
you
was
stayed
good.
tonight. I
Yeah.
mean, that's probably
I
smart.
had to.
Oh, you did stay the night there?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it sucked because the next morning I had to get up and drive to Michigan.
Oh God.
Yeah, I drove to
sucks.
Michigan, and my buddy had a combined diaper party / baby shower, and it was probably the fanciest
Listen,
thing.
I'm going to tell you this right now as a friend. For those reasons, it's probably time to cut off those friends. You don't need to have those friends.
First
anymore.
off, I had one.
Yeah, right.
Second off,
I'm not. No. I'm not saying because they had a diaper party. I'm saying because you have to fucking drive to Michigan every time they do.
no,
one.
I like that. I like that.
So like that, it's time to start cutting those friends out of your life because
Yeah.
that's too much of your time.
Okay.
That's too much of your time. Find friends in the
He's like,
local area.
Okay.
So,
You're like Mr. Mackey.
but it was
Okay.
probably like the nicest, most elaborate one that I've been to.
Oh, so the glory holes you couldn't see the other side of the glory hole.
Yeah, and so we had a blast. They catered, or the venue had food, but it was basically like a buffet of pizza,
So first off,
salads.
it's a diaper party, and it's at a venue.
Yeah,
So
it's at a
there's the
venue.
there's the first issue.
Yeah. So they
Continue-
also gave us a drink ticket, but I didn't even use it because I just went right to the liquor. And then it was for beer or wine, and I was like, Jillian, you can have the wine.
Beer, wine, breast
I'm
milk.
going right to the
Yeah,
bourbon.
breast milk.
But so this place that's up there is it's fucking awesome. They have axe throwing, they have curling.
curling. Did you
Curling.
try it? Did you try it?
No, that was upstairs. I didn't do it.
I would love to try
They
curling.
have
I
something.
did the curling at
yeah.
Land Grant. They had the keg curling. It's fun.
No, but I mean like real
I
curling.
know.
That
it's
would
not
be
real
fun to
curling,
try.
but yeah, no, I agree.
So they have my personal favorite called foaling, and
foaling. So like
Spell it. FOWLING.
it's like football.
like
it's football.
Football.
bowling.
Okay, so it's like
So you're
bowling.
bowling footballs.
But
Can
listen,
you just throw a football?
But listen.
Okay.
So there's
more.
There's these lanes that are kind of like caged off.
Okay.
But they're all together. They're not separated, but there's lanes. You
like
and another
duck
individual on one end and 2 people on the other versus them.
I've played this.
Yes. There's bowling pins set up on your side and their side,
Yeah.
and you're throwing the football to knock the pins down.
Right, it's like-
all the footballs are live,
Yeah.
so they can, another person's ball can hit yours and knock the pins over. It's an incredible.
You can't block that.
I've
though.
played this.
Like, you can't
You can. Once it hits the ground, you can block it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
But
the
it has to
initial
hit.
throw, you
Yes.
can't. Okay.
Yes.
So at the continent, here in Columbus. They have the axe throwing place there. They have that.
Do they?
Yeah.
The first place I ever saw this was up in Michigan.
I've never heard of it. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
So we did a end of year gym party there in probably 5 or 6 years ago. And we did axe throwing, but we also had that, and we had a blast with that.
Like it's
It
the
was
most
so fun.
like active in the sense of like something to
It's almost
do.
like cornhole.
Yeah, it's like
in a
cornhole
sense.
with a football.
Yeah.
You know,
With
It's-
pins and a football.
Exactly. It's not as lazy as cornhole in my opinion. You
Right.
need to be a little bit more
Because
involved.
the receivers have to do stuff.
Yes.
The side that's
Yeah,
getting
you're throwing the football, but you're also like
Kinda
when
defending once it-
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, as soon as it hits the ground. Yeah. No,
So
that was a fun game.
It's a very involved and fun game. That's
Trina got
easy.
into that one.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. So whenever they're like, we're doing it here with all these games, I was like, fuck yeah.
Did you smell this?
Real quick, let's nose this
This-
one. Yeah.
It's got a dark fruit nose to it.
I got
like
a
a hint
super
of it.
fruit, man. Like
Yeah.
when the
Yeah.
first smell was like overwhelming fruit. The
Is
second,
that why you sniffed the hand to
'cause
double check?
to see, I was like, wow, that's wild. And now
But it's like a dark fruit too.
yeah, it's a very
I'll tell you, I've never had the original Baker's 7 that we just had. I've had the Baker's 7 before I finished a bottle of it. This is my second bottle ever having of the single barrel version. And the first one I had was so good.
it's like a plum or something.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
a
like
dark
it's a
fruit.
very
yeah.
dark. It's almost like
Plums are good. That's probably
like
right.
a sour dark fruit or something even too.
Sour dark fruit.
Is
Interesting.
that weird? I don't know.
No, it's not weird.
But yeah, and I can't
No,
recreate
but there
that
is
very
like
first smell.
There is
but-
like a sourness underlying it.
not a taste, but just smell.
Are you texting funny shit? Is that what's going on?
I just
Replying to Jeff.
sent Jeff's photo to Jillian.
Just wait until Jillian sees it and wants one. That's funny. You know what that reminds me of is when you go to these things and they ask you to sit in the timeshare
the
Oh
meeting.
my
Sure,
god, they tried to do that to me, and I refused.
But you usually get free shit out of it. Like,
A free massage.
but here's the thing. So, like, the last time we went, I totally pulled one over. They're like, no, you both have to come. I was like, no. I said, my wife has a massage. If you want to even try to sell this, it's going to be just me. And they kept saying no. I was like, okay, fine. Then we're not coming. Don't worry about it. And he's like, whoa.
Oh yeah,
They're so pushy.
And then so I finally got him to agree to just do with me. So I sat through it. We got a whole bunch of free excursions out of it. And I didn't buy shit. I'm just like, because if she's there, it'll be like, well, we can afford this,
Right.
right? I'm like, no. Even if we can, no.
Don't say it in front of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because if they hear it, it's like blood in the water, man. Those guys are just the most pushy. Like,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, it's why they have those laws in the U.S. of like door-to-door salespeople that you have like 48 hours to like change your mind and get your money back. Like that's a thing here in the U.S. because of the vacuum and knife salesmen that used to go around.
Vacuum salesman.
Well, the Kirby's and then
Oh, I know exactly
what were the
Oryx.
What were the knives?
Ginsu knives, I think.
Yeah,
Is that
and
it?
Oric, right? For the
Yeah,
stop
Oric.
messing with the fucking thing.
Don't tell me to live my life.
I'm telling you how to live my life with my stuff.
Do you like this one better?
Debatable.
What do you think of this
I
one?
do. I do.
I think I like it better too. The
especially
taste
in the
is-
palate.
This is definitely better. So this is an upgrade.
It's very complex. There's a
both-
lot going on in here.
There is. We both agree, though, that this is, or all three of us agree that this is an upgrade from the original.
You know what I could use your guys' help with? What would be
Satisfying
some
Jillian?
ingredients?
Satisfying Jillian?
Yes, and yes. What would be some ingredients that I could make like a bourbon ice cream with, like a bourbon pecan, like a
I
butter,
would say
a butter
ooh,
pecan,
Here, butter pecan.
butter pecan
is what Jason would say.
Yeah.
So
Bourbon
I
butter
would say
pecan.
ingredients for that is pecans and bourbon. That's I'm just guessing.
Would you do like a brown sugar type?
Oh, for
base?
Toffee.
Yeah.
I think toffee's a good
yeah.
note.
Yeah,
Dark chocolate.
Yeah, brown
Dark
sugar.
chocolate,
Brown sugar. Yeah.
and they do make like a 0 calorie or a brown sugar substitute.
I'm sure they do.
Molasses.
Yeah, molasses.
So we both. I keep saying both because I'm not used to Tyler being here. But we all agree that the Baker 7 single barrel is better than the original Baker 7 in this instance anyway. It's a single barrel, so there's always a chance
Yeah,
for
variants.
But I've had 2 of these now, and they've both been really good.
This
So-
is I
I like this.
This is my first time having both of these.
Yeah. So I follow. You guys get ESPN updates on your phone usually.
Yes,
You don't follow anything like your Lions or anything. Or?
No, I don't want to give ESPN a fucking view.
Fuck Disney.
Ever.
Except for when their shows are showing what you
Not the
watch.
shows. I'll watch the sports, but I'm not going to watch the shows.
It's just nice to get the updates.
Yeah.
Like, so ever since my nephew
it's nice to get updates,
walked
I
on to
agree.
the Dayton basketball team, I started following Dayton.
Yeah, they're like 16th right now.
Oh, really?
They just keep winning, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, they were nothing. And then they had, who was the
Well-
player they had the year that COVID happened?
Well, they had the Toppin brothers.
Yeah. Who was the player?
They've always been one of the better
of the
mid-majors.
Atlantic 10 or whatever
Yeah.
they were originally. But they weren't an NCAA team, really, like that had a chance of actually making a splash. They were like a 16 or a 15
Yeah.
seed. Who was they were going to be a 1 seed the year of COVID when the tournament got canceled.
Yeah.
Who was the player that
Toppin.
was that him?
Yeah, I forget
He's
his-
now is he Indiana?
I think he's is he there or he was at the? I thought he got drafted by the Knicks.
right, but I don't think he's there anymore.
No, I don't know where he's at.
I think he might be in
And then his
Indiana.
brother was there, but I don't know where he's at or if he did anything.
So I just my nephew was on the team. They loved him.
Yeah,
He would like honestly. I think whenever he got in the game, Twitter would go nuts. You know, it would be like a walk on at Ohio State. You know,
Yeah.
get on the floor, same type of thing, right? Or in football or whatever. But they would go nuts, and then like he scored. He did a fadeaway jumper over a 7-footer at like
yeah.
who's one of like Duquesne or somewhere, Georgetown or somewhere. One of their players, you know, one of the teams that they played, he had a fadeaway jumper over their 7-footer and scored. The Twitter went nuts, man.
Let me send you this real quick. Did you see? So, you know, Tom Izzo's son is a walk-on
No.
at Michigan State.
No, I
he's
didn't
been
know
there
that.
for like 5
For
years.
basketball?
Yeah, he's like
Who was the player I
5'8".
saw that got a 7th year?
what?
Someone just got a 7th year approved by the NCAA.
They got 9th. There's a football player that got the 9th.
It might have
year.
been a 9th year. It might have been. You might be right.
Yeah.
It might be the 9th year.
He
But
had
it was
4 years
absurd.
of
It was like,
medical
what?
injuries.
Like he just kept getting hurt. Like who was the player that had his ACLs torn and MCLs and stuff like
Yeah.
back to back to back, year after year?
Dude, so it's almost the exact same thing that you just talked about of like your cousin. So watch this. I just sent it to our Instagram.
But I love how like
He's a 5th-year senior, and he just got his first career points at the end of the Maryland game.
Yeah.
I think it was. No, which one was this?
is he a walk on?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
And he's tiny.
You're talking about Izzo?
Yeah, Izzo's son.
Yeah.
And the place fucking erupted.
Where did you send it?
To the Instagram group.
Oh, Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sitting there waiting on our text thread. I'm like, what? I don't.
And
see
so
it.
every time that he comes in, the crowd is like, they don't care. It doesn't matter if
He
they're
touches
up.
the ball.
Yeah,
or
and
if
so
they're-
it's so
yeah.
funny because Tom Izzo will get pissed because they'll be up 30, and like a couple of games ago, he chucked up like a fucking Curry length 3-pointer and airballed it, and Izzo's just like, what the fuck? You know? But he's gonna be an amazing coach. He's gonna be just like his fucking dad.
Yeah.
He's super passionate, but it's just funny. Like
Yeah.
he's got.
Does he deserve to be on the team? That's
He's a
if you have a
walk-on.
delay-
right, but still, that's taking a spot from someone who might
Probably
potentially
not.
deserve to be
Probably
a walk-on.
not. He probably
I
doesn't.
wonder if this is almost like considered like internship for coaching.
Well, guess who else is on the team?
Hold on, I don't know.
So do you remember Steve Smith, who was a famous Michigan State basketball player?
Oh no,
His son is a walk-on. And then guess who else is a walk-on? on the
Magic
team?
Johnson's son,
No. Even better.
Magic Johnson's daughter.
It's pretty much the same thing if you've seen him.
I don't know.
Barry Sanders' son.
His son is on the basketball team
His son is on the basketball
as a
team.
walk-on.
Yep.
That's
walk-on
hilarious.
point guard.
So he's not playing football.
Nope.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Nope. He had a son that played
weird
at
fucking chopper.
Oklahoma State, maybe?
Right. Well, that's where Barry Sanders played.
Yeah. But this son plays basketball, and he's at Michigan State.
Interesting.
Yep.
Does Barry
And
Sanders live in Detroit?
I don't know where he lives, but he's been at games and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he played for Detroit for how many years?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would doubt if he moved back to Oklahoma
Yeah.
State that. I mean,
But anytime
he'd be
the
a legend
walk-ons
to
are
either
in,
place.
they're like, the crowd goes fucking nuts for them to score.
Yeah. So is the Baker's bottle and the Legend bottle exactly the same?
Pretty
Yes.
close. The
Tops are different, but
this top is fucking weird. I hate how this top
I
fits
love
on
that
here.
top.
I do not.
Because you can grab it with your fingers and pull it out.
It is not
I love it.
pleasing to me.
What's not pleasing about it?
I don't like that it doesn't fit.
It does. It fits exactly down
Yeah,
the
but
way
then
it's
there's the
supposed to.
space. I don't like it.
That space is by design.
I understand that. I do. There's like a bevel
And then
here.
you can grab it and pull it.
I get it.
As opposed to it being flush with the actual top of the lip of the, like that one.
I bet you I can pull that one off just as easily.
I'm not saying you can or you can't.
I just don't. I don't like it. I don't know why.
God,
I know
You're the
it's some
worst.
OCD shit.
that was
I
some
get it.
serious Tyler nonsense right there.
No, it's OCD. It's a problem.
All right, pour out 3 of those. So we're doing Legent, however you pronounce it now. Like I said, this is a collaboration between, I think, Freddie No and a famous Japanese distiller. I don't know the name of any Japanese distiller, so I don't actually know
Tyler, do you want more than that?
which one it is. It probably says on the back.
Less than that?
And the
Yeah.
one of us that doesn't need readers, but probably has a...
doesn't matter if I need readers or not. It's the only thing that matters is can I read?
right, that's what I was going to say. You followed reading Rainbow for the longest time.
Yeah. Hooked on phonics.
Worked for you. Oh, did it work for you? That's the.
Yeah.
It's the.
I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this name.
That's you don't have to. But try.
So expertly distilled by 7th generation master distiller Fred No, and then refined by world-renowned chef blender Shinji Fukoyu.
It's probably close.
I don't know.
I think it's fuck you, but that's all right.
Yeah. It's a marriage of East and West, a celebration of craftsmanship of Kentucky bourbon and the artistry of Japanese blending.
Do they is he actually a chef or are they calling?
Let him finish and then ask the question.
Sorry, I thought he
he's
was.
not
He
done
paused for
for effect.
There's an I in there. It's chief.
chief.
It's chief.
Chief,
It's,
okay.
So, and that might be why I need readers.
Let me try. Let me see how bad your eyes
But
are.
so that chief looks like chef. The way the H and the I and
I was
the
like,
E.
if they're
no,
calling
it looks
fucking
like Chief.
masters,
It looks like Chief.
distillers,
I can see this.
To me, all those
Chief
lines
blender Shinji Fukuyo.
all those
Legend is a marriage of East and
Yeah.
West. It's a celebration of the craftsmanship of Kentucky bourbon balanced with the artistry of Japanese blending. From rich aromas of mature oak and lingering spice to the flavors of dried fruits pulled from the wine and sherry casks. Every sip of Legend is worth savoring and sharing.
that looked like chief to me, or chef. I'm sorry.
No, it's
It was
Chief.
because
It's
all those
Chief.
because it's in all
Right,
capital
the H
letters.
and the I are right
It's
next
all
to each
capital
other.
letters though.
Right,
You
and
know
the
what I'm
H
saying?
and the I are right next to each
Yeah.
other, so it looks like a double-barreled H on
Yeah,
the right side.
that was-
It's a little right heavy.
Whatever makes me feel better about
Right,
myself.
that's what I was trying to do.
This smells similar to the last one with like the fruity notes. I think, but the sherry's coming through as well to me.
Oh, the sherry's definitely right out of the gates. I get the
Yeah.
sherry
But there's some of that like dark fruit from the other one.
for sure.
But
for
the
sure.
sherry's in there, which sherry's also kind of like a dark.
I'm
fruit.
not so full disclosure. I'm not a huge finishing fan. It's got to be just right. Like I like some. I like
the Middle
some,
West has a good sherry.
Yes,
the sherry
Middle West
casks.
has a couple good finishing products. What is it? I can't remember their name now. The place.
Angel's Envy.
Thank you. I knew it was AE. I couldn't think of what it was. I was thinking American. I was like, that's not right.
American Envy.
I was thinking American Eagle. I was like, wait, what? That's not right. So
That'd be a great bourbon. American Eagle.
Angel's Envy has some. That's their product is finished,
Mm-hmm.
bourbon and finished rye. Those are good. There's a few that I've enjoyed, but there's not that many. As a whole, I would say I'm not a big fan of finishing.
Yeah. The nose on this is very like wine heavy to me.
That's what we were kind of
Yeah,
saying,
like the sherry,
fruit and the
kinda like
sherry, and
fruity.
yeah.
I drank a little wine on vacation too. Believe it or not.
Did you? Yeah, at steak dinner.
Italian dinner and steak dinner.
Oh,
both.
Italian's a good time to have some.
Yeah,
red
I was like,
wine.
I'm gonna have
Oh,
some
love,
red wine.
yeah.
Some. Yeah,
What
I like
kind? What kind?
a Cab Sauv
Okay.
is what it was, and I got the lasagna.
All right.
Dude,
See, I'm a big Chianti fan with Italian food.
yeah.
Huge Huge.
I gotta tell you about these fucking cheese sticks that I got.
Cheese steaks? Cheese steaks?
Cheese sticks.
Oh, cheese sticks. Sorry.
Mozzarella sticks. Mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
So obviously, like, you know, ordering all the apps, desserts, all the thing. And so I'm like, oh, mozzarella sticks. These sound delicious. These mozzarella sticks were like, I can't even, they were like 1 inch, like cubed, if you can imagine. Like it was that thick. It was huge.
So were they cubed?
They were cubed.
So you know who used to do that?
They were
Max
fucking-
and Irma's.
No, they
on
they
the
might have.
skewers.
They were
Yeah,
the
but
biggest
you know who was
fucking
better?
cheese sticks I've ever seen in my life.
There was an Italian restaurant that used to be down here in Hilliard at 70 and Rome Hilliard. And it was Salvi's, I think is what it was called. And there was another one up on by J. Lou's up on 161.
Yeah.
Bridge Park or Bridge Street or whatever,
Yep.
over by the Kroger. There's a hotel there now. It's you know where the Kroger is at Bridge Street?
Yes.
On
Yeah.
161?
Yes, I do.
Across the street from that where France is used to be a Salvi's.
Okay.
And they had pasta salvi. And it was a cube of pasta cheese that was deep fried.
These were
And then they
deep fried,
brought it out with some mozzarella or some marinara sauce.
Yeah.
And holy shit. You could feel yourself getting fatter as you ate these. Yeah. But they were amazing. And you'd eat like 4 of them and you're like, oh my God. Like,
Why did I do this?
Why
Yes.
can't
and they had
why
a buffet
can't
on
Hilliard
Sundays
have
that was
like
the
a
best.
non-chain?
Chain?
Like,
They
why-
used to.
why
Salvi's used to
can't
be,
it
but
stay-
went out of
it's
business.
the only
Do you
town
know-
that can't
hey,
have it.
Do you
I'm
know what
hoping they
that
get
Salvi's
better.
is now? That Salvi's is that Chinese, Japanese, whatever buffet
Yeah.
that's down there by the
That's
Cracker
fucking
Barrel.
funny, yeah.
That used to be Salvi's. And it was
Oh.
amazing.
Speaking of, Lucky's isn't a chain, right? Like Lucky's in
bar?
Hilliard.
No, but it's like that's
But that's
So
a
that's bar food. That's
Yeah.
bar food. But the thing I was going to
Also,
bring up,
everything in Hilliard that's not a chain is bar
food.
Yeah.
They had fucking Russell's 13 in there.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I didn't ask how much
So
it
you know
was.
where I think they'll have one,
But I was like, I'll be
is
damned.
right off of Alton Darby here.
Yeah, that new...
That
I
massive
hope so.
development.
I hope so.
Right on the water, there's supposed to be restaurants, and I don't
That's what I've
think
been
they're going to
told,
put
too.
like anything
I hope so.
bar-ish.
It'll-
I think
it'll
they'll
probably
put
be
it
like-
like a nice
It'll be an
Italian
fucking
place.
It'd
or
be a
something.
really nice restaurant like a Rusty Bucket.
Yeah, yeah.
Rusty, yeah.
Dude, a
That's
rusty
what it's
like
gonna be.
old bag of
Fucking-
nails. Like, fuck.
That's what's going to happen.
Roosters, Rusty Bucket.
I
Old
mean,
Man
dude,
House.
I'd rather a Roosters over anything. But
Yeah.
like,
Dude, the
You know,
Roosters
did
in
you know-
Hilliard
Italian
now
place.
is
Did you
insane.
know Rusty Bucket is actually a Cameron Mitchell restaurant?
Did
I did not know that.
Yeah, they own
I haven't
it.
been to a Rusty Bucket
It's not.
in a long
It's not
time.
listed in the Cameron Mitchell, catalog, but it's owned by Cameron Mitchell.
So I know that we had talked a little bit about it with the new steakhouse going into. There's 2 new restaurants going into Easton. There is the
Del Mar.
No, not Del Mar.
Del Mar is one of them.
Well, maybe, but there's the
maybe.
steakhouse Italian Cameron Mitchell place going in, right where Bravo or Brio used to be.
Brio's still there.
It's whatever was on the end, right across from like Tiffany's.
No,
Where are you talking about at?
No, you're wrong.
What's
That's
going there?
Del Mar.
Del Mar.
Del Mar is going there. And then Smith and
Del Mar is
Walensky.
trash.
Smith and Walensky went out of business. So what you're talking about is probably going into Smith and Walensky.
No, it was the other steakhouse. It's down. It's not right on that little loop.
McCormick.
Yeah, McCormick and
Schmidt?
Schmidt's used
That's
to be
still
there.
there.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Starts with an M that's going in right there.
Smith and Walensky left. McCormick and Schmidt is still there.
Well, it starts with an M.
And then the place that there was a French restaurant that was right by the so the circle, the fountain,
I'm gonna
that,
look this up.
the fountain that is right there by Tiffany's.
Yeah.
There was a French place, Bon Vie.
Yep.
That's going to be Del Mar.
Terrible.
Smith and Walensky used to be there. They closed up shop and supposedly they're opening up downtown somewhere. And then I'm pretty sure that's where your
Smith and Walensky might be the most
overrated place.
overrated place.
But if you went there and got the right things, they had a mushroom salad that was freaking phenomenal.
yeah, I don't know that I want
it was a salad.
mushroom salad.
It was a salad that came with warm mushrooms on top of it, and it was so good. And the croutons were basically like pieces of bread
Oh yeah, those are
that
good.
weren't
like
quite
homemade,
croutons.
Yeah.
They were homemade. You could, it was so good. It was almost like potato bread.
So you also know. So it might be McCormick and Schmidt's. So here is this.
Hey, it's McCormick and Schmick.
Schmick. It's whatever is going right there. It starts with an M. It's a
Show me
steakhouse.
show me the map.
So
Yeah, that's where Smith and Wollensky's.
yes, right there.
Well,
Not-
right there is a
not
purse.
there.
Right there. Well, that's
There,
Tiffany's.
Tiffany's is right there. Tiffany and Co. right there.
Oh, so
So-
scroll back out.
So it was down over here, and it used to be a steakhouse, but now it's another steakhouse.
McCormick and Schmick is not a steakhouse. It's more of a seafood place.
Well,
Agree.
Listen,
How do you guys think about
Mr.
this?
Foodie? You're like totally wrong.
steakhouses and seafood places are typically go hand in hand in the sense
Generally,
that the menu
but-
are split.
But when they specialize in one over the other, that's where you start to see.
It's not
your-
Morton's.
Yeah.
I
Cut 182 just opened up in Easton 2, which is a steakhouse. That just opened up in the last 6 months. So let's nose this. You guys, well, we nosed it, so let's taste it. You guys talked about it being kind of wine forward and fruity on the nose. What do you guys get on the taste?
The palate falls a little flat for me.
I agree.
think I like the Baker 7 single barrel better than I enjoyed this.
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I don't think it's a flat finish as much as it's just uneventful.
Go back to the nose.
Maybe that's a better way to put it.
I almost get like a French toast.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
French toast?
What the French toast? So
It's very flat.
well, that's what Brett was just saying. But I think now that I've had a few drinks of it, it's actually opening up a little bit more in my mouth. Like I'm getting a little bit more flavor, almost like the vanilla's coming through a little bit more.
I agree. The vanilla's coming through a little bit too.
But it's still not impressive, if that makes sense. For what they're trying to market this as being this great, like, okay, hey,
collaboration, blah, blah, blah.
and I don't.
I'd agree with you.
Now they're not charging a ton of money for it. It's not
Okay.
like a crazy price, but like at the same time, for the way they're presenting this as being a premium product, I'm not sure that I agree. But it's not bad by any means. It's not bad. It's drinkable.
What's
but
the
it's-
price on this?
I'd have to look.
Wasn't it
And
in
it's
like-
changed. This is the original batch. The labeling has changed. It's changed colors. There's more gray in it now. This is the original batch, so it may have gone up in price since I bought it.
Is this what was the expensive one at Jim Beam? It was one of the bakers. I thought it was like high 100s, low 200s.
Well, there was Booker's. There was Little Book. Little Book was
Yeah.
more expensive than
I don't think it was
Booker's.
either one of those. I thought it was one of the bakers.
Baker's 13, but they didn't have any.
Oh, okay.
Baker's 13 is more expensive for sure. I think it was Baker's 13. I could be getting Russell's 13 and Baker's, but there's a
Is there
Baker's.
a Baker's 13?
There's a Baker's something, 12
Yeah.
or 13 or something.
Okay.
I don't remember what the year is, but there is definitely a Baker's something.
You know what restaurant at Easton that always hits and it's always forgotten by me?
Yeah, Baker's 13-year Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey.
Cooper's Hawk.
I like
Cooper's Hawk is nice.
Every time they have so many different options.
They're not they're not quite cheesecake.
And if your
Factory.
wife likes
No,
wine,
no, but like
You know what I get there?
wine.
You know what I get there? Actually, their old fashions are great there. What I get there though is their steak salad. Outstanding.
Their Thai spring rolls.
And you get a decent
Fucking
amount of steak, and you're not paying the steak price.
Yeah.
right?
You're paying like $20.
They have a whole like healthy menu
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fantastic too.
No, I like Cooper's Hawk, and they have their own line of wine.
Yeah.
But I don't
You ever had
drink
Mike's
wine.
Hawk?
I don't drink. Isn't that Mike Hunt's
Yeah,
little
yeah,
brother?
Yeah,
Or a cousin?
yeah. Mike Hawk.
What were we just talking about with Legend? What was the price of it?
The price of it.
Yeah. Mike Hawk and Mike Hunt are cousins, yeah. So the Legend Kentucky, it's $40, but now the label looks like
It's
this.
$40.
Yeah.
Oh, I figured it'd be way more than that.
No, it's that's what I said. It's reasonable,
Yeah.
but like it's presented as though it's a premium bourbon or a
Agreed.
premium, brand. The way they announce it and stuff, but this is what it looks like now, and you can see the faces better now because of the gray,
Agree.
like there
Yeah.
and there. and they put the names by the faces. Actually,
I kind of like the subtle one though. Of
yeah,
the OG.
no, I do too. But that's the OG, and I don't remember if it was $40 when I bought it, but it's $40 now. And from what I've understood, there was a little bit of an overhaul. It's not exactly the same product as it was, a couple of years ago when I got this. I just never, opened it. I've had it for a few years now, and I've just never opened it. But anyway, so a couple of things. Ranking these, I'd say Baker 7 single barrel, Baker 7 old batch, and then the Legent are my order.
Sure.
Same. Agree.
Brett, how would you rate your Mexico trip?
It was fantastic. I would go back in a heartbeat.
A lot of sex?
Decent amount.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
There's something about the stress.
For her, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to watch a lot of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, honestly, it was one of the better all-inclusives that I've done. I would go back there. The beach was beautiful.
Do you mind saying the price or no? That's
I
okay if
don't
you
know.
don't.
I honestly don't know. I think
She
it was
got it.
around.
She actually paid for this one.
No, she did. 100%.
I know.
Very
I just-
nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't being tongue-in-cheek. I was saying.
It's a weird thing the way we pay for stuff. Anyway, we can talk about it.
But you're
offline.
not married.
Correct. But we pay for things differently. I'll talk about it offline.
Whatever. Go
It
on.
works out. It works out.
Yeah, no, move on.
It was great. Honestly, one of the great things she surprised me with is as soon as she prepaid for
Happy ending
transportation.
massage?
No, I wish.
Oh.
She prepaid for transportation, and we get in the van, and she bought us random beers, prepaid for beers.
Yeah.
And they were just cheap Mexican beers, right? I got a Modelo, and she got a Corona, but it was here's your beer, and you're like, oh sweet. There's you just got off the plane, you just landed in Cancun, you're excited.
You need a beer.
Yeah, and you get a beer as soon as you get into the transportation
That's
before you're at your hotel.
That's
and I was
actually pretty cool.
this is really cool. She was it was $2 a beer. I'm like, I don't care. It's still really cool.
Yeah. It's just those little touches.
Yeah, little touches like that, exactly. So that was really great to do that. But the water was very aqua, super clear. There wasn't a bunch of seaweed. You could see fucking little fishies swimming in the crest of the waves. And
now,
everything.
were you out in the Cancun peninsula almost?
Kind of. We were in the Caribbean. Is where the water was the Caribbean.
Yeah, so you were out in the Caribbean.
Yes. Yeah.
Golfish Caribbean.
Yeah, it's
kind
of
of
where the Gulf and the Caribbean meet, I feel.
Yeah. But you know what I'm talking about, right? There's a big, almost like a sound or something between Cancun and the airport.
It's a lagoon thing.
Whatever.
That's in there. Yes.
But you have to go over that to get to the actual Cancun ocean area.
Yes, and that's where
you were.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
There was a bathtub on the balcony, which was cool.
Trina and I had the same thing. Yeah.
Didn't
Well,
do
not
anything-
like
Sandals
yours.
has a lot
not
of
like
that.
yours.
Didn't do anything with it. Probably should have, but there was. I was like, "There's a fucking bathtub on the balcony. This. I hope it doesn't collapse."
We
with
had
the waves.
we had a
Those are nice.
So-
Did you
It was
get in
cool.
them?
No, we did. I literally didn't do anything with the bathtub on the balcony.
Did you go to the same Hard Rock
Yes.
that I was at?
Yes.
Did you have the one
Terrace
that you could,
upstairs, yes.
Yeah.
But we didn't utilize it, no.
But you had the jacuzzi tub
Upstairs, yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big walk-in
And you didn't
shower
utilize
and all
it?
that stuff.
No. No, maybe I did,
Total,
but no.
Total wasted. Total wasted.
This was like a
moment.
jacuzzi tub on the balcony too.
Ours was
It was on the roof.
Ours was on the roof.
We didn't have a good view, so it was like
Oh, really?
This was on the balcony.
it was
I'm
like it was like being up on the roof taking a hot tub here,
yeah,
it's like
I get it.
it wasn't like overlooking the ocean or anything like that.
So
it was just like
we've been there twice to that place, and the first time was overlooking the entire grounds, but the ocean was part of it.
Yeah.
And then the second time we were overlooking an undeveloped forest with the ocean off to the right.
Did I tell
that's cool.
Did I tell you my coworker just went there?
To your same place?
Yeah. He told me that he was going. He went with his family, stayed on the family side, and he is Mexican.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, you know what? When I was there, I was shocked by the amount of Hispanics that were vacationing there. Because and not that sounds weird, but like Cancun, that area is touristy.
Yeah.
Generally, but
So-
think about Miami.
Yeah,
Or think
and a
about-
lot of
or
people
like-
don't love to go there.
But a
really.
lot of Americans go there.
Well, think about how many Americans go to Hilton
Not
Head.
all of them, because look at a lot of higher end people go to Miami because
Yeah.
there's different parts of Miami.
I know, but
There's a
I just
high-end
assumed
parts of Miami.
in countries like those, like not a money wise thing, but like in a sense of because it wasn't that expensive. But
let's say that you live and work in Mexico City. You're either going to go to Puerto Vallarta or you're going to go to Cancun.
no, there's a million other places that
But you know
aren't
what I'm
known to
saying.
the U.S. people. That's
Not
the thing.
Are there
on the
though?
other side of the
Are there?
other side of the
Are there?
Yucatan Peninsula is a much better spot that is not a tourist place.
What?
It's a town that starts with an. It's an area that starts with an M. It's like a very well known area that is not.
Then why don't Americans go there?
Because they don't know about it. They go to fucking.
You know
Cancun.
about it. You're a fucking American.
I knew about it now, after the fact.
Well, send it to us so we can all go there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It
It's
is
probably a little cheaper too.
maybe it is cold.
Hey, don't say it on the air because then our thousands of listeners are gonna fucking know what it is.
Fine.
Thousands.
I gotta go soon, by the way.
Same.
No, we're done.
Okay.
We're an hour.
Okay.
We're past an hour. All right, guys. Let's wrap this up. Legend for $40. Not horrible.
Yeah, it's not horrible for $40. I didn't realize it was.
Baker's is more expensive.
Yeah.
I could drink this. It's a sipper, but after what we've had, I think
Even
it's
the regular like non-single barrel bakers I thought was good.
yeah, they were all good. Everything we've had is good. The
Yeah.
Legend was my least favorite.
Least
but
good.
they were all least good. But they're all good. I could drink all these. Not a problem. 200 episodes. A little less fanfare than we've had in the past for a major milestone. It's old hat to us.
We'll keep
now,
you on your
right?
toes though. Like we'll just like boom,
204. We're gonna blow out.
boom. What's happening?
We're
right?
gonna blow out 204.
211. You don't know what's gonna happen.
211 is gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one. When we get to 211, hold on to your britches.
What's significant about 211?
Nothing. That's the point.
That's the point. We're going to keep you on your toes. You have no idea. We're going to have Jason. He's going to bring a whole bunch of LTOs, and then we're going to have like JD, and you're going to pull like
And his sister's gonna
Jillian
show
hairs
up
out of your sweatshirt.
I don't know about that one.
That one's black and curly. It's weird.
That's not
for short,
Julian
black and
hair.
curly.
Yeah.
God, I love where Tyler he's.
I put it on the ground because you have vacuums. Sorry.
Yeah, we do, along with the
wax.
Yeah, the wax.
the wax from the bakery.
That wax was awful.
Well, that's a 5-year-old. That
Yeah.
bottle's probably 5 or 6 years old.
That wax just crumbled like a
I
fucking.
mean, how many Baker's 7s like that have you seen in the wild? None.
None. Yeah.
Because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I had to rate a stash for that. I did. It's not funny.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us on our huge milestone. As you could tell by the production we did today, this is huge. We got
Huge. It was a big
It was
time.
huge.
Huge freaking
It was
guy.
huge. We got, but hey, we got the original band back together again. I mean, that doesn't happen doesn't happen very often anymore. So,
Alrighty.
here's to 200 episodes, guys. And
Cheers.
we'll see you
Cheers.
next week.
Thank you for joining us on yet another hunt for great bourbon. Please give us a 5-star review anywhere you are listening. But if you can't, leave some constructive criticism in the review so that we can get better at improving our show. Good reviews help us bring better guests on for your listening pleasure, not mine. But until then, sit back, grab a pour, kick up your feet, and enjoy some bourbon.